Hello and welcome back, dear viewers. If you're new, a special welcome. This is a commentary channel. I don't push to ask you to subscribe or to like, but I like comments. And the reason why I like comments is because for me, it's like, even though I'm looking into a screen, I pretend that you're on the other side, so you're listening to me. So I'm doing all the talking at the moment, and by you commenting, you're talking back to me. Anyway, I just wanted to very quickly update you with something. I, as you know, was going to study, or was in the midst of studying at TAFE, a dual diploma in mental health and alcohol and drugs. Unfortunately, I became very clinically unwell, and my doctor advised that I withdraw from the course, and I did. And I learned why I became unwell, because the reason why I had started or had pursued this course was, as you know, I had heard and seen, literally perceived people dying from drugs, but I was more passionate about what happens when you use IV drugs, because people think with IV drugs that there's only two hazards, and that hazard is you don't know what you're getting exactly, and you may overdose. They don't think about the third hazard, and that's every time you make a hole when you inject, there's a chance that a germ can get in. And when the germ gets in, there's three places or organs they like. They like lungs, heart, brain, and the fourth is blood. My husband didn't make 40 because of IV drug infections, and apparently this is quite common. And as you know, I was in addiction myself, so I had a real passion to help other addicts. And I started studying, and I got unwell. And I'm a believer in the fact that you should follow your passion, and this was my passion, to help people. I'm a very caring person, and I want to help people. But do you know what happens when you go against the flow? So when you swim against the tide, you drown. So when I was going against what the universe really wants for me, or I'll come back to that in a minute, but when I was going against the universe, I was met with resistance, and the resistance was me being unwell. Here's why. I had to learn a hard truth. I went in to study because I wanted to help addicts, but I can't, nor can you. Nobody can. The only person who can help an addict is themselves. So you can force an addict into treatment, and they'll just come out and, fall back, relapse. And I've suggested in one of my videos really harshly forcing them to do this. And I said, that if, even though I don't believe addiction is a crime, and nor should it be treated criminally, we should not be putting addicts in jails. They're not criminals. The only time they become criminals is when they do something that is criminal to gain money for their addiction. So they steal. That's a crime. So like any other person who steals, they should be dealt with by the law. And also the dealer should perhaps go to jail too, because the dealer is why we're getting addicted. And I realized that I can't help addicts. And then something else happened to me. And this is really upsetting. Before I go there, I want to tell you about Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry was a star of Friends. And apparently, if you get Spotify, you can hear his story. And he died at the age of about 36. He was an addict, and then he got clean for 8 years, and then he went back to drugs. And his drugs was opioids. Now, I've also shared with you that I have a family member who is a registered nurse, and this family member had warned me for months before my husband Rob got infected about all these people who were in her ward who had IV drug infections. And she said something the other day, and I have to be truthful. It was like, a knife, putting a knife to me and turning. We always say this, don't we? Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Once a cheater, always a cheater. We put people in boxes. We label them, don't we? A dog never changes its spots. So once somebody has done something, once a person lies, they'll lie again. And she said to me, this family member, once an addict, always an addict. And I just went, I was deflated, defeated, destroyed. Because I thought it was over. I thought my 17 years of this disease I'd cured. Because I said to her, are you saying that suddenly at 70 I might decide to like it and be an addict again? And she said, yes. Now, personally, I don't think that's going to happen unless something happens to change my mind, because I gave up because I didn't like the perverted thoughts I was having. And as I told you, people used to shoot me up, but because when I moved and they lived 150 kilometers away, I had to do it myself, and I kept missing. So I thought, what a waste of drugs, might as well just throw them away. And now I remember that missing, and I feel icky inside. And I also remember that feeling of being off my face, and to me it feels icky. So I don't think I will go back. But why do we always label someone once a such and such, they're always a such and such? Can't a person change? Why are we all thrown in the same box. We're all labelled. And as soon as this nurse said to me, once an addict, always an addict, I felt humiliated. I felt like hopeless. I felt destroyed. And just because Matthew Perry was clean for 8 years and then went back onto it, doesn't mean that, 8 years later, I'm going to be using ice again. But it seemed like the way she was talking, I'm doomed. Anyway, going back to my original part of the video, I was going against the universe, because if you're an addict, only you can help you. I can't help you, because if you're not ready to be helped, or if you are enjoying it, or if for whatever reason you just want it, it's like for Matthew Perry, when he first started drinking, he felt like he was in his own skin, so he felt real. So for some people, self-medicating on drugs makes them feel connected, and I understand all this. And I understand there are, especially with opioids, there are options like, subbies, methadone, Buvidal, so you don't get sick, you don't have those side effects. But we're all, as addicts, looking for that high and that rush. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I have to find a new path. And it makes sense. When my husband, just before he died, he told AODS, and AODS stands for Alcohol and Drug Services, that I was an addict, and they didn't intervene. They just let me be a drug addict. But once I got clean, I still went to AODS, and AODS said to me, "Do you want to go to rehab now?" Because I was clean. So someone who's still in the thrall, caught up in addiction, can't be helped until they've decided, I don't want to be an addict anymore. And I had to learn that truth. So I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't want to see another addict die the way Rob died. I don't want to have to see another person out there go through the pain of losing a loved one to drug addiction. But I don't know what the answer is, because only addicts can help themselves. Having said about addicts, we're all addicted to something. All of us, we've got in our brains dopamine, and we call junkies and addicts people who use substances. But there are gym junkies, there are workaholics, there's people addicted to shopping, people even who are addicted to helping other people. So addicts come in all shapes and sizes. And it's because even if you're an addict wanting to help others, you get a rush of pleasure every time you've helped someone. And that's what we're all chasing. Every one of us humans, whether it's substance abuse or other type of addiction, we all crave that hit of dopamine. So, once an addict, always an addict? I don't know. Leave a comment below. Do you believe in this once a cheater, always a cheater, once a liar, always a liar? Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic? What about smokers? Smokers who've given up for 50 years. Do you reckon they can go back to smoking again? Leave a comment below. Alright, this video is done. So cherish every moment. Love the best you can. And every life matters. And I love you. Bye.